So as you guys know, the Pelicans made a trade today, and I'm going to go into why the Wizards did it and why the Pelicans did it, and I'm getting into it quick because the trade just happened. So the trade ends up being C.J. McCollum and Kelly Olynyk for Saddiq Bey and Jordan Poole, essentially. And we swapped some second rounders. We got the 40th pick this year, which is nice because our Charlotte Hornets own the 34th pick that we gave away, which is a pretty high second rounder, so it can be valuable. So the reasons the Pelicans did this is because C.J. McCollum was going into an unrestricted free agent year after this year, right? So they were probably going to get rid of him. There's a lot of talk about this. They ended up doing it for Jordan Poole, obviously. And the reason for this is we're going to clear $40 million after this year by CJ leaving, right? But nobody wants to come to the Pelicans, right? So what they do is they trade CJ for Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole is getting paid a similar amount. So now you get a $40 million player back in, and now you don't have to go looking for a free agent after you clear $40 million this year from CJ. Poole ends up basically becoming our free agent signing that we were going to get after CJ left, except we didn't have to go into free agency and actually do it. And what the Wizards get from it is they get an expiring contract. They get $40 million after this year, and they're not stuck with Jordan Poole, stuck on his $30-something million that we're now having to pay him. So essentially, the Pelicans are betting on Jordan Poole becoming better, becoming the shooting guard that they need long-term. He matches up in the timeline with Zion. They're around the same age. So is Saddiq Bey. The Wizards are basically they're betting on the fact that they're going to sign a better player for $40 million after CJ clears. This is also their vision with the Chris Middleton trade, right? Chris Middleton clears after his player option this year that he picked up for $33 million. They're going to clear $33 million more with CJ, and they're going to have a lot of money to spend after the season. They're betting on players wanting to come to Washington. Kelly Olynyk is another veteran player that's going to come off a $13 million contract soon, and I think they're going to get even more money to spend. I thought we would have kept Olynyk just because he was a good shooter for a big, and we need that to pair with Zion. We need guys that can spray the three ball. We end up getting Saddiq Bey back instead of Kelly Olynyk, which is good for us because he's still on a extended deal where he's not clearing anytime soon, like Jordan Poole. But we get a guy back that can play defense, and he's 26 years old. He's same age as Jordan Poole. I think Zion might be 25, so he still matches the timeline. The issue with Saddiq Bey is he's coming off an ACL injury. He's very cheap. He's only $6 million. We got him for relatively cheap in the deal. The issue is if Saddiq Bey becomes good, we're going to lose him to another team that's going to pay him more, just like we did with Najee Marshall. So we acquire Saddiq Bey, but he's probably a temporary piece. He matches the timeline for now. We'll have him until he's about 27 or 28, but he's a very temporary piece because either way, if he's good or bad, he's not going to stick on the roster, basically. In general, I think this is a bigger gamble for the Washington Wizards because it essentially means they've got to find a player that suits them for a lot of money. Whereas we now have a guy that's going to be here for a couple of years, and he's getting the money already. We didn't have to go out and find the free agent ourselves. Jordan Poole can also slide in at point guard while DeJounte Murray's out for at least half this year with an Achilles injury. He won't come back anytime soon, so Jordan Poole might have to slide in and play a good amount of point guard this year. I think they're betting on his ball handling, which I think CJ did the job better. I don't think Jordan Poole's a passer. I think they're end up having to put Zion running the primary ball handler, and I think Jordan Poole's gonna have to spot up and shoot off Zion's kicks. The Wizards are rebuilding, but they're trusting in Sarr, and I think they're going with a pay-to-win route, and I think they think they're gonna get a couple players from free agency that are gonna make their team good the next 5 years. Whereas we're thinking we got to rebuild, right? We're going with players that are all in the same age, and we're just going with the route that's not free agency, but we're building them up. I think I like the trade more. It's definitely a better trade than any of the trades Griffith made. I think DeMars did his thing with this one. I think Jordan Poole was a good suitor for CJ McCollum, and I think I would have liked Cam Thomas a little more. Maybe they tried that, maybe they didn't, but he may have been a little too expensive. But Jordan Poole, he kind of suits the roster fine, and it's, you get younger. He's not the greatest piece to pick up, but he suits the roster just fine. I think this shakes up our draft a little bit because we have the 7th pick and the 23rd pick, and now we just acquired the 40th pick. I think it shakes it up a little bit. I think we're more guard heavy now. I think our full lineup, Jordan Poole doesn't even start, if I'm being honest. I think Herb Jones starts over Jordan Poole, and then Jordan Poole comes off the bench as a 6-man like I thought CJ McCollum would, and he's going to score the ball off the bench. The Pelicans really struggled when Zion was out last year, when he was on the bench or out with an injury. They really struggled to get any offense going, any shot creation, so I think that's why I think Jordan Poole will come in for Zion when Zion checks out, because he still needs someone when Zion comes out to shot create, and that was what Brandon Ingram did. And now you lose that. So Jordan Poole comes in. Maybe he does some shot creation. Maybe they trade up for Ace Bailey and they get a secondary shot creator. That was the whole rumor coming up until this trade, which I think Ace Bailey's, I think he's less possible now, or he's less probable now, because they have Jordan Poole who can shot create. And I think maybe Jordan Poole does that a little bit better than CJ McCollum. One of the few things I think he does do better. I think now they're looking at Knupel, I think, is the guy now. I think where they're going to go Knupel at 7 and then Danny Wolf at 23. Those are two really good shooters. I think Danny Wolf's got a great handle for 7 foot tall. And Knupel, he is a 3-and-D player, which they need a lot of wings. I like this trade. It's a trade that's functional for the Pelicans. It's a trade that works. It works for the next couple of years. It gives them another depth piece in Saddiq Bey. I think it works for the Wizards and what they're trying to do, because they haven't been on the build very well. So now they're going to try to go the pay to win route. And I think that achieves that, because they're going to clear a lot of money. So I see the vision there, but I think it works for us. And I think it works just fine in terms of how the roster fits together. And I think Jordan Poole can handle the ball and shot create like they need him to. I wanted to also throw in that DeJounte Murray, with CJ McCollum gone, he's got to take way more of a leadership role, which I think they're fine with. I think they saw that coming. I think they knew DeJounte Murray would have the keys to the locker room. And now with him having the keys, they're okay with saying, okay, CJ McCollum, your job here in the locker room is done. I'm curious to see what Joe Dumars does with this team moving forward as our new GM, and I'm excited for the season. I'll retouch on this in the coming weeks once I get a more clearer mind, and it's not the first 30 minutes of this trade breaking. And that's just my initial thoughts. But if you enjoy these type of videos, please like and subscribe, because I'll be coming out with more sports videos. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.